Hi there. If you're watching this on YouTube, or you're wanting to watch any of my content on my channel, or both for that matter, I would strongly recommend hitting the subscribe button and comment and like on any videos if you may wish, because this is a general audience channel. Also, this video is not made for kids, it is for older fans and adults alike. So please sit back and enjoy the video. Smudger and Stanley Trilogy Part 3 Smudger vs. Stanley. Based on the original story by shunterproductions, adapted, edited, and told by julyleonard. Stanley was settling in well with his new life on the Scarloy Railway and got along well with the other narrow gauge engines, all except for Duke, Sir Handel, Peter Sam, and most of all, Smudger. Back in the days of the Mid Sodor Railway, the two engines had a grudge with one another and battled over being who should have been MSR's number 2. For you see, Smudger came first from the Fletcher, Jennings & Co. in the mainland, alongside Jennings, MSR's number 9, and was turned into a generator, whereas Stanley came along from the War Department years later to replace him, much to Smudger's jealousy, and in turn joined Smudger at the back of the shed, but as a pumping engine, which they both blamed each other for. Now it seems that the old grudge was revived. Stanley and Smudger glared at each other. That night, most of the little engines were away doing late night shifts, but Stanley and Smudger were left alone in the sheds. Just then, Smudger spoke up. "I'm shocked to see you back in service, Yankee. You're a danger on the rails," he remarked nastily. Stanley took offense to this. "I should say the same to you, slime ball. You should have stayed as a generator like you were supposed to be. At least I was trying to be careful, even if my original wheels didn't help," growled Stanley. "Bah, I was more suited to be Mid Sodor Railway's 2 than you," retorted Smudger. "Oh yeah, sure," came the reply as Stanley rolled his eyes. "You were very suitable, Smudger. Just like when you derailed over 10 to 20 times. Smudger hated being beaten, so he thought of something very hurtful. "At least I didn't do the MSR by failing, leading to flood the last slate mine near Casneyhowen." Stanley went dead silent then. That was one fact that he simply could not ignore, and it haunted him up to this very day. The workmen back then never bothered to repair him, but he still felt dreadfully guilty, even though it wasn't his fault. "I think I made my point. Now you better stay out of my way when I'm helping Duke tomorrow. Good night." And with that, Smudger went to sleep feeling smug, leaving Stanley to go sadly to sleep and riddled with guilt. The next day, Smudger and Stanley were working with Duke at the slate quarry. Soon, Smudger started showing off, as he did back on his old railway. "I bet I can get a train together better and quicker than that red Yankee could," he boasted, and puffed away, much to Duke's concern. With that, Smudger started collecting all the empty trucks he could find, making a line of 7 trucks, pushed them up to the incline, and went onto the other track, where he waited for the loaded trucks to come down. But he was closer than he should have been, and passed a safety notice. Although he and Stanley had a change of heart in their pasts, Stanley was hoping to get some payback after last night. The loaded trucks at the top spotted a chance for trickery, when they saw that the winch couldn't pull 7 empty trucks up the incline. "Break it! Snap it!" they shouted. And they did. With a loud snap, they rocketed down the incline towards Smudger, who was very surprised. His driver pulled the reverser back and opened the regulator as quickly as he could. Smudger raced back with the loaded trucks pursuing in front of him. "Can't go any faster. They're going to catch us," called his driver. And he was right. The trucks caught up with Smudger, laughing and pushing him faster and faster. There was trouble up ahead. Ivo Hugh was waiting at a crossing with a goods train of vans when Smudger and the trucks came hurtling in. The driver applied the brakes, but it was too late. Smudger smashed into Ivo Hugh's vans, and slate from the loaded trucks flew everywhere into debris. His crew had jumped clear before the crash. Smudger had crushed his cab and lay dazed and surprised. "Bust my boiler! I wasn't expecting this!" he exclaimed. While the driver telephoned the quarry for help, Ivo Hugh puffed away with the remainder of his train. Meanwhile, back at the slate quarry, Stanley was telling Duke about his argument with Smudger last night when the manager came running in with urgent news. "Smudger has had an accident at a level crossing near Krosny Curran," he said. "Stanley, you must go and rescue him." But Stanley was indignant. "Even after what he did last night, I don't think so. He can stay there for as long as he likes, if he knows what's good for him, and for all I care." This made Duke very cross. "I'm ashamed of you, Stanley," he said severely. "You weren't responsible for the MSR's closure. You know that. Smudger was only saying those things just to hurt you. But you are both engines with a change of heart, and we all must pull together, no matter what." Duke's words touched Stanley. "I'm sorry, Duke, old bud. You're right. I must go and help Smudger, no matter what." And with that, he puffed away to the rescue. When he arrived, they found Smudger looking very sad and feeling very sorry for himself. While he took the trucks away, Rusty came by with some cranes to put Smudger back on the rails. By the time he was rerailed, Stanley came back to take him to the steamworks. "Trucks can be troublesome, but it wasn't your fault," sympathized Stanley. "I'm sorry I was rude to you, Stanley," Smudger said sadly. "I guess I grew jealous of you when you arrived during my time as a generator." "Don't be," replied Stanley. "Now what do you say we put all this behind and be friends?" Smudger agreed, and they set off. By the time they arrived at the steamworks, the thin controller was waiting and spoke sternly to them, although he praised Stanley for rescuing Smudger and also praised them both for ending their grudge once and for all. Ever since that day, Smudger and Stanley had become firm friends. They, along with Duke, Sir Handel, Peter Sam, Bertram, Atlas, and Freddy, went on reminiscing about the good old days of the Mid Sodor Railway.